Radical and repugnant Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene suffered another public humiliation. She seems to have a very high tolerance for these, as she is constantly embarrassing and humiliating herself in public. Fortunately, her constituents don't seem to care. Let me tell you what happened. There was a hearing about extremism, white supremacy, criminality, so on and so forth. And one of the witnesses during this hearing was a woman named Amy Spitalnick. And she's a senior advisor on extremism at the human rights organization Human Rights First. Not only did Marjorie Taylor Greene mispronounce her name, which we will get to in a moment, but she seemed to once again lose a sense of how time moves forward, and 2023 happened after 2024 and so on and so forth. And when the witness tried to explain that every single politically motivated murder in 2022 was committed by a right-wing extremist, Marjorie Taylor Greene brings up something that happened in 2023. And as if Greene is a 5-year-old, it's explained to her that it's a different year, Congresswoman.
When it comes to politically motivated violence in 2022, every single murder was committed by a right-wing extremist.
Every single murder in America was committed by a right-wing extremist?
Every single politically motivated murder was committed by a right-wing extremist.
Are you sure about that?
I am.
Are you aware that the Tennessee shooter just recently identified as a man and she was a biological woman? Was she a right-wing extremist as well?
Young lady's time has expired. I'll allow the witness to answer the question.
So that was a shooting that happened in 2023. There is no evidence as to what ideology motivated that shooting.
There's a lot here. This is actually, it's another humiliation for Marjorie Taylor Greene, but there is a lot here. First of all, imagine that it were true that all but one politically motivated shootings were committed by right-wingers. And imagine that the shooting that Marjorie Taylor Greene is referring to had happened in 2022. It's actually almost worse. Because the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene would be able to say, well, there was this one shooting that wasn't a right-winger, it would only reinforce that the politically motivated shootings in the United States are almost exclusively committed by right-wingers. Now, it happens that Marjorie Taylor Greene brought up a shooting that didn't happen in 2022. It happened in 2023, so it just doesn't even make any sense. But imagine that conversation. Every single one of these was committed by right-wingers. Well, other than this one. Oh, okay, all but one. So it's still 99% or it's still not good. Now, it's also true that even in the incident this year with the trans shooter, we know the identity of the individual as being trans. But as far as I've seen, we actually don't know the motivations. And just because you're trans doesn't mean that the motivations were left-wing motivations. If they were, I will absolutely tell you. It wouldn't change the reality that overwhelmingly politically motivated shootings in the United States are committed by right-wingers. So just an embarrassment up and down the entire thing. Here's the moment earlier during this where Marjorie Taylor Greene mispronounces the witness's name and then tries this hardcore questioning, which just makes her look like a horrible person that she is.
Miss Spitalnick, you were talking about white supremacy.
It's Spitalnick.
Oh, I apologize, Spitalnick. Miss Spitalnick, while you were talking about white supremacists and abortion, I totally agree with you. There's a lot of white supremacists in the abortion movement and abortionists because they have murdered over 20 million black babies in America since Roe versus Wade in 1973. That's on average 900 black babies are aborted. They're ripped apart inside their mother's womb.
This is gag-worthy stuff from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
So I would agree with you. That could be labeled white supremacy, or we could just label it murder. And it should never be happening. So if you want to talk about white supremacy and the abortion movement, you should really analyze that in your human rights groups that you run as you collect donations from people with your nonprofit, because I think that is something extremely important to talk about.
Yeah, because Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't grift for donations, right?
Is the right for those black babies to have lives as American citizens, the right for them to be born, the right for them to be given a chance to live as free Americans instead of murder. You think this is funny, Ms. Spitalnick? Is this funny to you? Is babies being murdered in the womb funny to you? Because you're smirking and laughing
This is a very tough Marjorie Taylor Greene.
me right now.
What's not funny are the Black people and Hispanic people and Jewish people and Muslim people who have been murdered in synagogue, in church, in supermarkets, in mosques by white supremacists.
Are you aware that all colored people are murdered? That is a fact, that every single color person has been murdered. That's not unusual. It's
Pick a color, they've been murdered, says Marjorie Taylor Greene.
not just that people of
The
color
question is, what are the motivations for those murders, which seems to be completely above Marjorie Taylor Greene's head.
are murdered. White people are murdered too. Murder is not just for minorities. That may be a shock to you.
So a disgusting person, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And as usual, she's not good at this. She will try to make these witnesses look bad, and she fails. That being said, the people who like Marjorie Taylor Greene see that and think, wow, she did a really good job. She really showed that witness. She really proved her wrong. A common sense approach leads you to a different conclusion. But a lot of this is, what can I go back to my constituents and justify? What can I go on Hannity and claim that I did? But to any thinking person, really a humiliation that Marjorie Taylor Greene is even a member of the United States House of Representatives. That's really, the number one thing I hear from our foreign viewers about Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's not about her specific views, as deplorable as they are. It's the disbelief that she could even get elected in this country. How does your country elect this person? And then you go down to whatever 4th or 14th district of Georgia, wherever she represents, and you talk to people and you go, oh, this is how. This is how.